All right, guys. So it reports that Kamala Harris is basically the most unpopular / disliked vice president in modern history, at least since like the 70s or something like that. Of course, the liberal media has to go out here and defend Kamala, right? And The View, specifically Joy Behar, defended Kamala in a way that literally should be unsurprising to anybody. Take a look.
Not surprisingly, several polls seem to have found that Vice President Kamala Harris has the lowest approval of any vice president since the 70s. You know how much stuff I believe in polls, but where do you think this is coming from, Joy?
Well, let's see. What is different about her that we haven't seen before? What could it be? Oh, that's right. She's a woman and she's black. I almost forgot. Let's tell the truth here. I mean, it seems like there's this bombardment of criticism on her and Biden coming from the right, as if they've been in office for 4 years. They've only been there for, 6 months? I don't even know. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, 8 months. 8 months. What are they supposed to do? Change the whole world? Get a cure for cancer? Solve the problem of climate change? Deal with immigration? They've been doing immigration. How many presidential years? Other presidents have tried to fix immigration in this country. It's a very, very hard, intractable problem. And that's what they handed her. So, you know what? Back off.
All right, guys. So as you can see that she immediately pulled the race/sex card because that's easy. It's easy to say that. You don't even have to think about that, right? You don't have to do any real constructive analysis of why people may not like Kamala Harris. Okay. I really do think that Joy is trying to make up for her blackface years. Okay. I think that's why she goes so hard to stick up for black women / women of color on her show, right? On this show. I think she's trying to avoid being called racist, right? Except, when it comes to black women like Kim Klacik, right, who happens to be conservative, those black women don't count. Those black women don't get protection. They're less important, right? They're less important. But Joy Behar, she basically says, well, Kamala is disliked because she's a woman of color, right? She's a woman and she's black. That's basically what she's saying. And she brings up some points about immigration. It's like, oh, well, she could not fix immigration in the first 8 months. They're criticizing her like they've been in office forever. She can't just fix immigration, right? They just can't, snap their fingers and just have it fixed. It's a hard problem to solve. And listen, I agree with her in terms of it being a hard problem to solve. Yes, it is a hard problem to solve. Nobody's expecting them to fix immigration, right? As soon as they get in office, right? The only way it can be fixed is through legislation, right? That's the only way it can be fixed. And even then, it won't be fixed permanently because problems evolve. I'm willing to admit that, right? That's just kind of how it is. But they made it worse. Kamala and Joe Biden made it worse, right? Kamala and Joe Biden told immigrants to come, right? They told illegal immigrants, hey, come to the border. Come to this country. We will take you in. Come. Okay? That's what the Democrats said. And that's what a lot of the criticism comes from because Kamala and Joe set themselves up for this because they wanted to get those progressive votes. They said this during the primaries, and I feel like Joe even said it during the general, right? Speaking of primaries, Kamala was already disliked in the primaries. People didn't like her own party in the primaries. So why would you think that people would like her as a VP? Are all those progressives and establishment Democrats that didn't like her, are they racist too? Because she blames the GOP. Oh, well, the GOP is racist and sexist for going after Kamala, right? It must be about her being a woman of color. That's what it must be about. Okay, so you got to apply that same logic to those on the left who didn't like her during the primaries. You got to apply that same logic. But I guarantee you she doesn't think about it that way, right? And I guarantee you another way she doesn't think about it is the fact that Biden is the one that gave her the assignment, right? Biden is the one that's giving Kamala all these assignments that she cannot win on. So is Biden a racist, right? Is a Biden trying to throw a woman of color under the bus? Because I would argue that he is. I would argue very strongly that Biden is trying to make sure Kamala 2024 does not happen because the Democrat establishment wants him just to serve one term, right? Kamala is supposed to be the successor, right? She's supposed to take over the throne. And I think that Biden does not want to leave. I think that Biden wants to stay. He wants to do 8 years. That's what he wants to do. And I think that he sees Kamala as a threat to that. That's why he gives her assignments that she can't win on, like immigration, like this voting rights thing, right? The For the People Act. Okay, things like that. That's why he gives her the assignments. Also, on top of that, when it comes to immigration, it's not just about the fact that they made it worse by inviting people over, right? It's not that. It's the hypocrisy of it all. It's the fact that, again, they made it worse. And then when people came to the border and they were housed in these detention facilities, the ones that they said they would close, the ones they said was, oh, kids in cages under Trump, right? Said it was a humanitarian crisis under Trump. They have the same situation, but it's worse. You got kids wrapped in aluminum foil in jail cells, right? Under Biden. At least they won't in aluminum foil under Trump. Or maybe they was. I don't know. But regardless, I'm just saying, you have the same exact thing under Biden and Kamala. And Kamala, who's supposed to be in charge of the immigration crisis, chose not to go to the border. But she ran to the border along with other progressives to get photo ops under Trump. She chose not to go. She chose to ignore the issue. Then when she finally is forced to address the issue because the Republicans kept putting pressure on her to actually go and to do something, she runs to Central/South America first. And people are like, wait, hold on. Why are you not at the border? Why are you at Central America first? Why are you in Guatemala? Like, why are you all in these places? Why are you not at the border, right? Kamala doesn't handle that well. White House leaks information to the media saying that, hey, even we I don't know what's going on with Kamala. She getting kind of snappy, with the media. She's not really giving good answers. Again, this is coming from Biden. So then after that, Kamala doesn't even have no common sense to just take the L and be like, you know what, let me just get my ass down here to this border so I can take these pictures and get down here to Republicans and shut up. She's not even smart enough to do that. She runs back to D.C. She's caught taking pictures, a straight up photo op at a pride parade, right? At a pride parade. So you're at a pride parade before you go to the border. And then once Trump says, I'm going to visit the border, all of a sudden, then Kamala decides that, oh, I probably should get down here and visit the border before Trump goes to the border, right? And then she gets down to the border and essentially, she kind of, says a little bit or whatever. Nothing happens. I mean, I knew nothing was going to happen. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, they haven't really done anything. And all on top of that, they reversed Trump's policies that disincentivized people to come because they said that it was inhumane, right? So all that stuff combined is reasons why Kamala is disliked, right? It's not about her skin color. It's not about her sex. It's not about any of that. It's all about the fact that Kamala has failed at the job. She was not a likable person from the get-go. She got into office and she wasn't any better, right? She wasn't any better. So that's really the issue. And if you guys are going to talk about politics, if the viewers are going to talk about politics, for the life of me, please give some real analysis. Please actually use your brain, because it takes no brain cells to go up there and say, well, it's because she's a woman and she's black. God, it's such a cop-out. You don't even have to prepare for a segment like that. And I guarantee you, Joy Behar is getting paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to be on that show just to say stuff like that. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.